Alright, so one of the feature matches at MOS4, we have Glenn S running Domain Monarchs versus the Stream Open Champion, Calvin Wang, running Yang Zings. Now, Stream Open Champion, what is that? That is one of my online streaming tournaments I hosted that's free to join, and not only that, he won the tournament, and of course there was a prize at the end, which was any of my mats with the Stream Open Champion stamp, like basically stamped right on. So he chose the Magispector mat, so he received, this is actually what, at the event, was my first time seeing this mat, actually. So, it's pretty awesome. So on the left side, on the white side of the mat, we have Glenn versus, of course, on the Magispector side, we have Calvin. Very excited to see these players. Now, Calvin did, in the intro, he promised spice, in these, by snooping around before the event started. Calvin did say he promised spice, so let's see some spice in this. Alright, good sportsmanship handshake in the beginning, so I'd never expected to see a Domain Monarch. Since the ban list did kinda neuter the deck a little, you would think that the deck would have suffered a bit of a heavier loss, but Glenn is gonna sport this. Now, these feature matches are basically interesting matchups that we saw throughout the tournament, and this is one of them. So rather than just giving the same boring, Metal Foes, ABCs, and then like frogs all the way, we have some interesting matchups to show to you guys, showing that these decks are still pretty relevant. Or perhaps, I don't know, maybe they'll prove me wrong. So starting off with Tenacity, revealing Erebus, and of course they fetched the Pantheism of the Monarchs. This card is a one of, so it kind of sucks. It is one of those powerful cards, one of those best trading cards of the deck. The discard draw 2, so it's a... Ooh, someone hit the camera a little, but it's okay. We know what's going on. Okay, so Pantheism ditched the... what is this? The Prime Monarch. I haven't commentated Monarchs in a while. And now the Pantheism has been activated. Searching out one of these cards will be a Domain. Is it going to be more Domain? He wants his Domain. This is Domain Monarchs. They want to lock out. There is no extra deck on this deck. Well, we can't choose his last card. Oh, Return. Okay, so Return and Domain. Oh, tough choice. Do you want to be locked out or not? That's the question. Alright, instead of getting locked out, he's going to go with the Return of the Monarchs, although that card is very powerful. It can create chain blocks. Oh, Gofu. Now, Gofu is a very powerful addition to the Monarch deck. No effect for tokens. Normal summon the Eidos. Now he will be given an additional tribute summon for the turn. And now he goes for the Return of the Monarchs. I guess he can tribute both now. And he's also activating March of the Monarchs, so the Monarchs now cannot be targeted, so they're basically a Magispector monster. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, okay, here we go. We have Erebus about to pluck a card out of Calvin's hand. This is a really decent setup for Glenn. So Aether has been added to hand from the Return, and Erebus will be sending 2 cards into the graveyard, 2 Monarch spell traps into the graveyard to shuffle 1 card out of Calvin's hand back into the deck. So he's putting... Strange, he's going with the... what is it? A copy of March and another copy of Return. I have no idea what he put away. Maybe you guys saw it on camera. It was a bit too quick for me. Overall decent setup, but there is no Domain lock right now, so Calvin is still able to access his extra deck. Okay, that's alright. Guess you'll be at a 5-card hand to a 5-card to 5 cards. Set 1 back row and pass turn. Well, there is a Prime Monarch in the graveyard, so that just means that there is more bodies to go through if you want to deal any kind of damage. Yang Zing is really scary though. You just need to get the combo off, and then you're basically ready to go. And I see a Speedroid Terratop right there. There is a special summon of the Terratop. Effect on the summon. Triggered to search. Oh, this is different. This is the Speedroid Red Eye Dice. Now, upon normal summoning this card, you can change a level of one of the Speedroid monsters on your side of the field between 1 and 6. He's changing him to level 4, so I'm guessing he's going for Denlong. Probably Denlong. There's the Denlong. Upon summoning of Denlong, the synchro summoning of Denlong, he will be able to search out any Yang Zing card out of the deck. So he's gonna go with the 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. And then he also have the other effect to send a Worm-type monster into the graveyard. So he's sending a Chi. That's Chiwin, right? Sorry, it's a bit red. Yeah, it's probably a Chiwin. So it changes his own level to match that Worm-type monster's level. Now, upon removing Denlong from the field, just field removal, he will be able to summon out another Yang Zing from the deck, which is crazy. Like, this is unheard of for Yang Zing, since most Yang Zings require destruction. This is not the case for this guy. This guy is just too good. It's very hard to punish Denlong, especially if he searches 9 Pillars. And he has a solid defense number of 28. So in the main phase, Glenn is activating the Aether from hand by banishing the return from cost, attributing his Erebus effect. He's also chaining the Return of the Monarchs as well. You know, it's probably decent timing for him to do so, because 9 Pillars is in the back row, and 9 Pillars is a big problem. Negating the effects of basically anything. And popping a Yang Zing card, which will basically trigger off a series of combos that you don't want to deal with. Now, Aether's effect will be summoning on a monster, and Kuraz. And Kuraz's effects will go through. I personally would go for the back row. I don't want to deal with the back row that Calvin has prepared. But he's popping one of his own, and he hits the Oasis of Dragon Souls. In other words, the pillar is still there, so both players will be getting a draw. So, of course, because he did activate something in the main phase, we do not proceed to end phase right away. Just remember that. If you do, someone's like, oh, I'm going to go into end phase, and you're like, no, I stopped you. I gotta use my Aether. You will remain in end phase. It won't just automatically proceed until both players passes their priority after all the effects have resolved. Now, luckily there's no domain, so Calvin's not locked out, so he's still able to make plays, but he has to be very careful because Denlong is only a 28 guy, and clearly we know that Domain Monarchs can boost above that 3,000 mark to like much higher, especially when attacking monsters. Calvin's being a bit more careful now. Glenn's in a pretty decent position. But I think Glenn really needs to get, I think Glenn needs to get his domain as soon as possible. Well, not just domain, but he would probably, escalation. Chain Prime. So he's removing another escalation. Now this Monarch deck is very interesting. He's running a lot more copies of the ones that we used to determine as one-ofs. So he is tributing those two to summon out the Erebus using escalation, which is very interesting. Getting the extra Erebus summon on Calvin's turn, no less. Perhaps he will spin away the back row so that the 9 Pillars doesn't kick in. Or even get rid of the Denlong, but Denlong will probably leave a monster just on the field. Is he going to choose hand? Oh, so sending Denlong. Denlong's effect is gonna get kicked. Oh boy. Which monster is he gonna... Which Yang Zing is coming out? Is he gonna put a defense mode Jiaotu? Okay, well that's pretty good. Perhaps it would have been better to kill the back row. Because I think what I fear the most is the 9 Pillars. The right play of 9 Pillars can just basically wreck the whole field. Glenn right now really needs to top deck an Aedea to fetch back some of his banished spells and traps. In particular, he wants that Pantheism back. But I think he burned out most of his resources. It was a bit greedy of him to do that, but I think he really just wanted to go with the aggressive play and like minimize the number of resources Calvin would have. There's a 1-for-1 in Glenn's hand. Unfortunately, he does not have a monster to actually get that idea out. Oh, Erebus. There's an Erebus Engrave. So he pitched the Return of the Monarchs to get another Erebus. That's actually not bad. He can actually go pretty far with this. But he does not have a Return of the Monarchs anymore. So he's tributing 1 for the Erebus. Since it was a tribute summon monster, you only need 1 tribute. So 9 Pillars has activated. Oh, spin back Erebus into the deck, negate the effect. And Chiwin will summon itself from the graveyard because it was a monster was destroyed, and Swanee has been summoned out from the Jiaotu. And synchro summon on the opponent's turn, of course. And there's another Denlong. Oh man, that's what I was afraid of. It's really hard to clear off anything. Like it's the board's so sticky. Now he's adding a Path of the Yang Zing. In other words, next turn he's going to be able to shuffle some cards back and draw 2 cards. Very scary stuff. And don't forget, Denlong will be able to put another Chiwin into the graveyard. And because it's 28, without the domain, he can't run it over. And there we go, pass his turn. Calvin, you know, with like getting Erebus twice and everything, he's still maintaining pretty good composure. Normal summon a Beyond. He's synchroing for 8. I guess we know which boss monster is coming out. Come on, it's gonna be a Boxia. Or it's an Omega. Boxia has been summoned. He can spin back 2 cards into the deck. So he's taking away the 2 back row because all the monarchs cannot be targeted and cannot be destroyed. See, well, that's what's scary about the 9 Pillars, is that 9 Pillars doesn't destroy the monster in negates, it just spins it back into the deck. So in other words, the protection from March is not going to be very useful. I did protect the Aether from getting spun back though. But Boxia doesn't have a high attack stat line, so this is going to be a bit of a problem for Calvin to go through. 23, Beyond's effect. I believe it doesn't let... Oh, what is this? Oh my god, a soul charge for 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's gonna go with a 4 card. Oh my god, this is huge. There's no attack though. There's no battle phase this turn. So we have a red-eyed dice. So we have our tuners. We have synchro for another 8. Second Boxia. And of course, the Denlong was removed from field. Therefore, another Yang Zing monster will be summoned out from the deck. He is summoning out a Chiwin. Oh my god, this is brutal. I don't know how he's going to recover from this, because this field, with this much card advantage and this much board presence, the pressure is on for Glenn. And he's top decking. Well, he's almost top decking. He has a 1-for-1. He needs to somehow draw 2 cards. He needs 2 cards to keep himself alive. And he goes into synchroing for Herald of the Arc Light. So basically he has the ability to negate anything. And okay, special summon out the Jiaotu by popping, I guess he's using a Boxia's effect. And he popped the Chiwin. And Beyond has been summoned. So now he has, and yes, the Chi one is. Oh, there is an arc light on the field. The arc light does cause banishment on the field, but it's not for the stuff on the field. I believe it's only from hand and deck. And I plays the path to shuffle back certain cards. Puts back a Denlong, a Beyond, and a. I couldn't see what that one was. Whatever. It's 3 Yang Zing cards that's been shuffled back, and the amount of advantage that Calvin has got, like, what's his plus? If we count his pluses right now, we have 1, 2, 3 cards in hand, 4 and 5 after he draws. So there's 5 card hand, 5 card on board. This is brutal versus 1 card, so he has a +9. Set 1 back row and pass his turn. End phase. Oh, we are getting an effect. End phase. He's gonna try to play this out. He's gonna summon out his Prime Monarch by banishing out the return. Draw. Is there anything he can do? He needs a monster so badly. Herald is brutal right now. Herald can negate anything. Nope, it's Scoop. So Glenn scoops this one up. So the first game will go to Calvin. Here we go. So game 2. Glenn will be going first again. Now the sides have been kicked in, so we'll see how this game goes. Oh, I can see 1 card in Glenn's hand, and that's brutal. It's normal summon. Tribute summon for... Oh my god, that is the floodgate monster that no one wants to see. Vanity's Fiend. This is gonna be brutal, since the Yang Zing deck does require a lot of special summoning, and 24 stat line is enough to run over basically every single Yang Zing monster that's not a synchro. And you don't even have to worry about most of the floatiness of the Yang Zing being destroyed by battle, because, well, it's not going to happen. So there's a Speedward Terratop being destroyed by battle and passes turn. 2 card back row. I know one of them is an Oasis of the Dragon Souls, and luckily for Vanity's Fiend, he does not activate anything. Oh boy. If only there was a battle trap. If only there was a battle trap. So, a D has been summoned? Attack! Attack for 800! Oh boy, 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. Won't do very much. Again, Vanity's Fiend does not activate. Normal summon Terratop? Effect to add Takidama. He's, I guess Calvin's aiming to thin out his deck, hoping to grab a note. Maybe he has a Book of Moon, maybe he has something just to turn that thing off, because it is very annoying. Being locked out of your plays like that is basically gonna feel really bad. This is like back in the day of Necros, Jinlock. Of course, this is the original Jinlock, Vanity's Fiend. So the Terratop will be attacking the Idea, and that will be a 400 damage going through. Man, I'm trying to prevent myself from coughing right now. It's very difficult because I'm still pretty sick. Attack for 12! Oh man, just taking... oh, excuse me. Damage just non-stop. This is the good old days of being locked out and all you can do is set a monster to prevent your life from going down, but you're losing a ton of resources as you are getting your ass kicked. Taketomborg has died. Oh, Pantheism has been activated, discarding the Return of the Monarchs to draw 2 cards. Oh boy. So as Glenn speeds up and advances his game state, Calvin's still locked out. This floodgate is really good. If Calvin was a river, clearly Glenn is now the dam. Oh man, what he really wants to protect this Vanity's Fiend. So one of his choices right now is March of the Monarchs. He can even fetch out Domain if he wants to. That's the scary part. Oh, going with Stormforth. Stormforth is also very scary. Except, I don't think Stormforth is that good. If he actually manages to get out that Denlong, Stormforth is not going to be as beneficial as we think. And we have a Tenacity. Honestly, not much of a choice. I would probably give him the March. I guess the March is better because I guess March will prevent him from getting gamed next turn. Because if he does use the Stormforth and tribute off one of Calvin's defenses, it is going to be brutal. The amount of damage he's going to take. So rather than... But the other card, on the other hand, basically protects that Vanity's Fiend to no end. Like, you can't kaiju this guy out. You need something like Raigeki, and Raigeki is now out of the option as well. Where's that Moon Mirror Shield where you need one? Oh man, Moon Mirror Shield, one of my favorite cards of all time. One of the best equipped spells in the entire game. It's just, I'm always bigger. That's all it is. Very interestingly designed card, though. Attack! Of course it's gonna go through. Beyond only has about 1600 attack or defense. I believe that's 1600 attack. And he sets one. He's gonna prepare for his next tribute summon. Set and pass. This is a very classic game of set and pass. Vanity's Fiend is doing his job when, you know, you can put your opponent in this exact situation. I think in the current format, Vanity's Fiend is one of the most feared monsters to see on the field. Eidos has been summoned. His effect will activate. Effect. You will be getting the extra tribute summon for the turn. He has a Kuraz in hand, but I'm wondering if he has a bigger Monarch to actually push for extra damage. He's tributing 2, so definitely there's going to be more. For Erebus. So Chainlink 1 will be the idea to add back the Pantheism. Chainlink 2 will be Erebus. Unfortunately, the Erebus cannot be destroyed, however, the effect will be negated. Strike not doing very much. Another 1500 damage off of Calvin. After a solid game 1, he's Glenn is giving him payback. Attacking. It's the 28. Oh my god, Domain. Solid lock right now. This lock is basically unbreakable. You need way too many cards to get out of this, and you have to clear the 2 monsters. Calvin realizes this and immediately just scoops it up. So now we're entering game 3.
That's pretty important. Yeah.
Game 3. Calvin's gonna start. Now, the scary thing about Yang Zing starting is if they set up with the very first Denlong is easily just a 1-card combo in many ways. In the future, it's actually going to be even easier with DDDs. DDDs can make Denlong pretty quickly by summoning out, like, just getting that spell card to search 1, and you search a level 4 Pendulum guy, which can Foolish Burial out a Lamia, and then from there you have your tuner and your non-tuner to make the Denlong. Wow, opening Brilliant Fusion, however, there is a Maxi that has been dropped. Now Calvin's taking the Maxi challenge. He's gone too far, so there's a Galaxy Serpent. Very interesting choice there. So Lazuli will be adding back the Galaxy Serpent, so he has the additional tuner, so he has 2 summons right now with the Seraphinite on the field. Brilliant Fusion, one of the most broken fusion cards. Think about how many fusion cards that are broken. We have Future Fusion, Brilliant Fusion, Instant Fusion. Look at all these fusion cards. Taketaranborg has been summoned with a Galaxy Serpent. We are going into Denlong. Both of them were normal summons. Denlong's effect on summon, adding a Yang Zing card to the hand. He's going to add a 9 paths. This is going to get in the way of Glenn for sure. Alright, sending a Chi-Wen into the graveyard, making that Denlong level 1. What is he considering? I guess he has to calculate for the Maxi challenge. Can't give him too much advantage. Although, even if you take a Maxi challenge against a Monarch deck, the number of plays that they can make is actually pretty limited. Just like ABCs, in fact, most structure deck-based decks, maybe except for the Pendulum one, has very limited plays, even if they take a Maxi challenge. If they expend all their plays, it's okay, still. But Calvin passes turn. I guess it doesn't want to give him too much advantage, because, you know, if a back-to-back Erebus will kill you and is basically an OTK. So, Edea has been summoned. So 9 Pillars is negating the effect of Edea. Edea is shuffled back into the deck, and then Chi-Wen plus the Denlong effect will form a new chain. So summoning out a Beyond, and I guess the Chi-Wen has been summoned onto the field. Oasis of Dragon Souls has been activated, summoning out the Denlong. Denlong's effect. So much plus. Is that a... I can't see what that card is. The glare is pretty bad. Is that a Jiaotu I'm seeing? No. It's a Swanee. Oh, Denlong. They're too good. And this is all on his opponent's turn. Oh, no. Oh man, his hand's just so brutal. He bricked. Like the classic Monarch brick is caught on camera once again. I believe this is gonna be an OTK. So Swanee has been summoned. Synchro for 5? Which Humbara?
27, 29, 23, 19.
Oh, this is an OTK. 20, so you gain that extra 500 attack from the Swanee. And it's game. Calvin takes it. So, you know, he is a very, very strong player. Just went for a game right away. Oh, congratulations, Calvin. Well, I hope you guys like this game. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more stuff from MSD.TV and more games from MOS4, we got more interesting matchups. I think the next one I'm gonna go with... Let's go with something a bit more meta. Let's go with Metaphos versus Yang Zings. Just subscribe to MSD.TV if you want to see that game. It's by Chansey Wigglestove versus Ryan Dale. And until then, don't forget to hold on to your MSD.TV.